Hi, everyone, and welcome to our first Inclusion and Wellbeing Forum for 2025. Our January forum is all about educational options for students of determination. We are very lucky this month to be joined by Rema Menon, who is one of the leading voices in counselling in the MENA region. She is a top voice for counsellors, a huge support in the community, and has a huge wealth of knowledge. So our session today, as always, we invite practitioners, educators. We're welcome to ask any questions throughout the session. Please either type in the chat, I will keep an eye on the chat, or you can raise your hand. We ask that you don't speak about individual students by name or schools by name. And we always remind people that while we offer advice and guidance around education, the rules and policy in your own setting are always paramount. So where we would give advice, it's always important that you follow the guidelines of your particular setting as a priority. As always, our session will be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel, where you can access hundreds of videos from expert practitioners like Rema, who join us every month to share their practice and insights. Our 6th Inclusion Summit is coming up in Abu Dhabi on the 21st of January. So it is free to attend. We have breakfast and lunch, and we are going to be joined by some excellent practitioners who will share their knowledge with a firm focus on early years this time. So please do check the comments in the chat, and you will find the link to register if you would like to join us in January on the 21st.
The thing is that the last few days, as a career counselor, I've had a lot of requests from people whose children have learning difficulties. These are students who are in the mainstream but have been given accommodations, either exclusion for mathematics or for languages and stuff like that, or they've taken lower level mathematics because they couldn't cope with their standard level. So while I'm talking about places that students with determination can go to, I'm also going to be talking about a few new courses in BTech, which students who have a problem writing exams can make use of. Just 2 days ago, I had, it so happened, from the same school, I had 2 students, and they came at 2 different times. But when they saw each other in my counseling center, they were overjoyed because they both had difficulties, and their parents were fully supportive throughout. It has been their parents who have been taking care of them, and all of a sudden, now they're going to be in the deep end because there's not going to be the same kind of support that they have got from school, especially from learning support people like you. All of you have been tremendously, really, really supportive. And I know that a lot of students are really going to miss you when they go into university. And let me tell you that parents have still got a lot of apprehensions about sending their children to universities or colleges that do not grant degrees. Now, some of our students find it very difficult to take exams. You know that. So if for some of them, it would be so much easier if they could go into BTech courses rather than take on so many subjects. And, because BTech courses are much simpler in that you are only going to do projects. You're not going to write big, huge exams. Now, the people who have come recently have all been ICSE or ISC students or CBSE students. And these students have taken a mix and match kind of, subjects. So, like, for example, I had one recently who came with home science, mass communication, PE, lower level math, and something else, and English. Now, for such a student, It's difficult to exactly identify what would be a good match, but from whatever discussions we had, it was found that he probably would do well with mass communication, because most of the courses he has done as part of his 2 year 11th and 12th covered most of the things that a mass communication program follows in universities here. Okay, so when you are advising your students, please be mindful of that. Because even if the parents tell you, no, 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 we want, oh, no, we don't believe in diplomas, that is not a completion, it is possible for students to do a BTech program and then move into a bachelor's qualification. This BTech is very well recognized, especially in the UK. Over here, unfortunately, even now, although KHDA has approved of it, even now it is not accepted by the ministry. So most of the ministry, the ones which have got Council for Academic Accreditation programs, they do not accept it. So, for example, I don't want to name names. If you look at the CAA.ae, you'll get a list of 79 universities or 81 universities that are ministry approved. These universities do not consider BTech. It's only a matter of time they are going to be able to accept it, especially because globally, this Pearson's BTech program is accepted. And you all know that many of the GEM schools and other schools are offering BTech as programs within their own systems. So it's only a matter of time. So encourage your families to consider it. And now I put this imprint of a finger because each of our children, the ones we are dealing with, is so very different. And although all of us know that marks do make a difference, I feel that we should not allow marks alone to define the students. It should be, we have to recognize what else they're good at and identify something that they would probably do well in the long term. So without, I have put in the names of a few universities just for you to understand, not that I am representing them or I am promoting them in any way. Okay, because there are many, many, I'm just focusing on a few so that you will understand what I'm talking about. You all, as educational experts, you know what vocational education means. But unfortunately, even if the parents have had to struggle a lot with preparing their children, when it comes to diploma, it's a definite no-no. They feel it's incomplete and it's not good enough. But today's world, it is good. And it is necessary for some of our students to take up this vocation-related education so that we prepare them for the real world and they can be contributing members of the community. Can we move to the next slide, please? So what are some of the options available in the UAE? As that you all know that along with mainstream, some of your schools are already offering ASDAN qualifications. And in our system here, we do not have a clear-cut for further education colleges. We are trying to ape the West, but all of it is not yet in place. So, but we will get there someday. But at the moment, we only have universities and then we have few institutions that offer various vocational type programs. I'm going to touch upon a few of them so that you understand and you may be able to direct some of your students into those places. Okay, next one, please. Yeah. Now, those of you who do not know what VTech stands for, this is what it is. There are over 2,000 qualifications for Pearson. Now, many of the students, I have seen those that have finished with IGCSE, Okay, they don't, especially the British students who don't want to spend year 12 and 13 struggling with A levels, they run away to university straight after IGCSE. Right now, for those students, actually, if you were to send them to North America, they will be sent, they will not be accepted, or they will be put into a foundation program. The same is the case over here. Here as well, most of the universities will take the students for a year-long foundation. Now, some places offer you straight away a BTech program where you start at a level 3. Okay, and if you do the standard level 3, it is similar to A levels, which is not yet accepted over here. Okay, but it is the fact that you can do the BTech and be considered it's similar to the A levels. This information has been sought. I forgot to write the source. It is from the BTech website. Okay, so that it's not something that I just wrote. It is from the website for people to have better, greater clarity. Next one, please. Yeah. So especially those students who have learning difficulties, who need a scribe to write the exam, or who find it difficult to process information, for those people who struggle with communicating their ideas, maybe they're good with application, they're good with when it comes to hands-on work, but they may not be good with recall and memorization. For some students with such kind of challenges, all these courses are very practical and hands-on. And they have a lot of things like hospitality, IT, robotics, business administration, culinary arts, lots of things like that. I don't know how many of you have students who are already pursuing this. I've had the privilege of going to a couple of these institutions, and I'm going to talk about them because I have actually placed students there, and I've seen the students there, I've talked to them, and I've also had the opportunity of going and counseling some of them. So they have sought my advice as to what they can do next. As in, would it be possible for them to go to UK or Canada with these qualifications? It is possible to go anywhere in the world with these qualifications. They would also want to know what else you did, what was the curriculum like, what are your marks, all of that. Okay, next one, please. Thank you for being such a godsend. How many of you have come across this place called My Maximus? I don't know. But recently, this summer, actually, one of my students, somebody has raised a hand, so must have seen it. Okay. All right. The thing is, why I like this program is that it has different opportunities for different levels of competency. So those with a higher level of competency can go into the gold standard, where they offer information technology, digital marketing, artificial intelligence and robotics, business administration. Now, why am I specifying this? I had a student this summer who was so happy having gone there and volunteered for 4 weeks. He really was able to empathize, and he was also able to understand better what he always thought was a given. When he went there, he then realized how tough life is and how much of patience people who are working with parents, teachers, occupational therapists, everyone, how much of patience they needed to deal with. I actually sent the boy there because he aspires to be a doctor. So I said, one of the first things you need to inculcate within ourselves, should we want to go into a helping profession, is empathy. And the only way to do it is hands-on training. And he really was grateful for that training, although in first week he was like, oh my God, I can't do this. It's so difficult. My goodness, and all of that. But within a period of a week, he really kind of liked what they were doing, and he was able to empathize with the teachers. He was able to actually provide support to those people who were working with those children. The students were not children; they were of different age groups. So he was able to kind of lend his support, and this I felt helped him even during his medical college interview. He spoke about it because it left such a huge impact on his psyche. So those students who can perform, who have greater cognitive skills, who are able to memorize and all of that can go into the gold. Then those that have a little less competency could go for different courses like internet accessibility, gardening, customer service, fashion design, soap and candle making, cooking, and all of that. Now, the idea is that we make all the people self-reliant, right? Some years ago, I had a student who had come from Chennai. He had done the National Indira Gandhi Open University. He had done some courses, but he had not been able to complete. But at that time, I had sent him to one of the vocational training programs where they taught him how to fold clothes, how to keep everything ready for the retail marketing work. It was through Mrs. Safia Bari's center. And immediately after that, he got recruited by Centerpoint. And I'm giving you a classic example because the mother really made me tear up, because the boy, for her birthday, with his little money, had bought her a handbag. And he said, "Ma, you don't need to work now, I'm earning." He didn't realize that that wasn't enough, but it just gave him the confidence that he could do something on his own. And the mom was so overjoyed. You just imagine the students you're working with. When they start doing things for themselves, when they start earning, even if it is a little bit of money, how how they feel, how confident, and how much of a difference it makes to the parents. You know, most of these parents are not dependent on that money. But even if it is 500 dirhams and that person comes back saying he or she has got a salary, the kind of joy, that's what I'm talking about. Next one, please. Now, I don't know if you guys know about Dubai College of Tourism. They are in near One Central. This is a Dubai government initiative, and they have so many different courses. I went to that DCT when they were earlier near Emirates Airlines. I actually had the privilege of talking to all of their students because they had invited me to do some sessions with individual students. So the first time, I only got about 4 sign-ups. But after the 4 sign-ups and all the feedback the rest of the class got, the entire class signed up. I think they thought that, they were very apprehensive about going to a counselor. They didn't know what it meant. But later on, when they realized that I don't bite and I'm not a threat to them, all of them came. And what was nice was that many of them had financial difficulties, some of them had learning difficulties, some of them had difficulties at home, because of which they had to choose not to go to the mainstream. Okay, so they have 1-year certificate programs as well as 2-year advanced diploma courses. So because it is a Dubai government initiative, almost all of them were working in the industry. So those girls and boys working in events management were given an opportunity to work for the Dubai Fashion Week. They were so thrilled about it. Then there were those that were working in retail industry. They were also placed in different hotels and restaurants, those that were doing culinary arts. What was nice was the fact that all the teaching was done by be professionals in the field. And every one of them had to do internships. And those internships, they didn't have to run around for. The college, offered it to them on a platter. So they were spoiled for choice because this is a government mandate. So many companies would come there during their careers week and then, look for appropriate candidates who could help them out with their. It was also part of their Emiratization drive, because there were quite a few Emirati students as well as Indian, Filipino, Lebanese, all sorts of nationalities were represented there. So one of the things that you could do after you attain your diploma is either go on to do a degree from any of the local universities, or go abroad and pursue higher studies, or get into the mainstream and get working. So it depends on individual families, the financial situation, the maturity level of the child, the aspirations of that individual, all of those factors. I think those things are very important. It's very easy for us to say, oh, he can go to UK, he could go to Canada, but then even the geopolitical situation is not really conducive at the moment. There's so many changes going on. So we as counselors, as practitioners, we have to be mindful of that as well as the maturity level of the student. Next one, please. I don't know if you all know about this vision, Vakati, this is called. Okay, Vakati is specialized in aircraft maintenance. We take aircraft maintenance as a given. We go on flights. Every one of us have to fly to our homes, our respective homes. We never think about those people who work hard to keep those wonderful planes intact, right? Now, aircraft maintenance is a huge component of careers, because Dubai is increasingly becoming a hub, where different airlines are going to be using this place for their this place has flights coming from all over the world. So, and we have quite a few different companies over here as well. So these people have a 2-year program, one of which is purely technical, very theory oriented. I have actually gone there and seen it for myself. It's not fancy. It's like a mechanic's place, because it is, working with hands. And the first year is all about theory of you can't afford to make a single mistake, because the lives of everybody on that aircraft is on that on or the whole team, right? So 1 year of theoretical classes, and then 1 year of practical on-the-job training. That's how they do it. And they have linkages with Air Arabia and different airlines. So students get absorbed easily, because there's a huge demand for aircraft maintenance. They're paid well. And there's a lot of hands-on, hands getting dirty kind of work. But there are so many students who like that sort of mechanical orientation. So if you find a student who will be good with this, do give them the person in charge is one, Mr. Mahesh. Go there, see it for yourself, and then send your families there if you feel you have a student who is appropriate for this kind of a course. Next one. Aside from that, we have sometimes very smart looking kids who don't want to study, right? So they also have cabin crew training. So it's a 6-month training. It's not just about looking smart and doing your PR. It's also about a lot of safety regulations and preparing you for actual flights. So they have a cabin crew. I do know a lot of young adolescents think it's so fancy to be an air hostess or a purser, but it's also a lot of hard work. And these Vakati guys, they prepare you for that, and they put you in jobs as well. But there is certain criteria in terms of height and weight and all of that. So it's not really inclusive, if you get my drift. Okay, next one, GBS. I'm sure all of you have seen GBS being advertised in a big way because they've come up huge in this market. They came very recently, but they have brought with them a lot of diploma programs. Even this year, I have a student who actually had an admission in New Zealand, but for some reason her visa didn't come through. Many of these universities are actually offering January intakes. So if you have students who are sitting around not having joined a course simply because of some financial difficulty or some one particular course that they had to resit or things like that, please tell them that they should look at the January intake in many, many universities and colleges over here because it is available. Now, GBS, they have lot of different kinds of courses. I'm here not to promote GBS, but these courses, which are very good, Global Investment Banking Analyst Program, which is an online one, but there are so many digital technologies and AI solutions. These are all programs which are very much in demand as UAE is moving from a business economy to a STEM-based economy. Right? So although we do have requirements for business, we are also looking at STEM solutions. So the DBS Dubai, they also have another wing which is called GEDU, GEDU, where you can do part of your course here and then go to one of their branch campuses in Malta or UK or France, places like that, which will help the student in the long term. So just have a look at what they have on offer. You can go online. Cybersecurity is a huge market right now, and you can not only do this course but also equip yourself with online programs that will prepare you for the industry. Next one, yeah, this is one which is always in demand. We have so many hospitality venues here, restaurants, bars, hotels, bread and breakfast places. We have, so many places where these hospitality and catering options are available. And students who like baking, who like cooking, who like meeting people. And I also tell students, if you have a value system which makes you feel it is haram to have liquor or haram to serve drinks, then don't go for this. Because whatever you choose to do, you have to do, you have to do those things that fit in with your personal principles and your home family values. So if you feel that this is not really the place, it's fine, right? Because as yet we don't have, I think we have just one hotel in this whole of UAE which does not serve liquor. Everyone else does. So if that is an issue, then you have to look for that. It's like those students who want to go into financial management and money, I always tell them, if it is haram in your culture, please think of Islamic banking principles. We have Islamic banks here. You have courses on Islamic banking. If you want to do that after you've done your BCom or your BBA, that is also possible. That's the best thing about UAE. We have options, but we still need many, 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 many more options. I'm telling you, we don't have anything for students who like animal care. We don't have a veterinary hospital. It's there, but it's only for Emiratis in the UAE in Al Ain. We have equestrian, we are so big on horses, but we don't have this, and we really need that, but I'm hoping. I came here in 1998, and I have been blessed to see so much of progress in this education space. I'm hoping that we will have library courses on library management, on veterinary science, on so many things that are underrepresented over here. But it will happen by and by. Places that used to be in containers are now in huge campuses. So we are progressing. It is taking time in certain segments, but it will all happen. Now, some of these places like HDMI and Monarch Catering College, they have a very good mix, as in you can start your program here, you will be working in the industry, and subsequently you can either go to Scotland or you can go to Switzerland. They have tie-ups. These twinings agreements are articulation agreements where you do part of the program here and then you do the final leg of the program in a parent campus. So all of the courses that you have done, nothing will get wasted. Everything will count for something. So that's very good for those people who don't have adequate funds. So that also is part of inclusion, in the sense financial capability. If you don't have funds, you don't think that that's the end of the world. There are alternatives to which you can still attain your goals, right? So Munar Eating College and HDMI, they have partnerships with Swiss schools, Canadian schools, and all of that, and Scottish. So it is possible for a student who aspires to go away from Dubai, get some experience and come back, or stay if that's what they prefer, to do that. So hospitality is also big. International Center for Culinary Arts is very good for those students who want to become chefs in the future. I have a student who's a prime example. She did both a chef's program as well as a master's in engineering. So this was her passion for her fun stuff, and engineering was was what she wanted to be. So she wanted to practice as an engineer, but she really liked the idea of baking and all of that. So she did this on the side. It was quite a rigorous course, but then she is both a chef and an engineer now, working in the US. So it really depends on what the student wants. Next one, please. Yeah, I put in that slide mainly to tell you that a lot of times the programs have group projects. Now, if you have some students who have social anxiety or challenges in terms of communicating with others, then BTech could pose a problem. So we have to prepare them, because in the real world, they will be working with people from diverse nationalities, diverse capabilities. So it is necessary for them to be involved in group projects. So just a special note about that. To conclude, I'd like to say, last slide, please, Kathy. I want each of you to tell your students and their families to reflect on what are the options available. Analyze what would be good for that particular child. Then draw up a strategy, prioritize and plan. This mantra is good for everything, for all of us, whether it is for us to attain our short-term, long-term goals, or whether it is for us to, decide on something. It is important for us to reflect and analyze. Many times we don't spend enough time looking at the pros and cons and jump into something. We need to reflect. We need to analyze, and then look at what would be the best fit for this particular child. Not just because, this is a nice thing, let him go and do it. No, he may not be good with it. So we need to strategize based on the person's capability, prioritize, and plan. Most of the universities here, they have a Jan intake, a June intake, and a September intake. And they all offer early bird discounts. Okay, even if you shave off 6,000 dirhams, it's a lot of money for most families. So do tell them if they have decided on a particular university, they should go for the open day, understand more than the reputation of the university. What is the course outline? What are the subjects that the person will have to study? Will that person be able to handle it? Then go forward, then plan, then go ahead and put in that application, get that fee discount, because it's always great to, and then the student also has a clear path. You have to get, like the two students who came here, I found out for them that they are eligible for direct entry into the university. They don't need any foundation, but they have to attain 65% in the CBSE to get into that. So when we tell our student, our child or our student, that this is what your plan is, we need to get this. So they would work towards that goal, and that would help them feel a sense of achievement if they have done it. And if they haven't, at least they would have tried. That's about it. Sorry again for the late start. If you have questions, please go ahead and ask. I'm sure I couldn't cover all of it because UAE has quite a lot of, for example, I haven't touched upon the healthcare aspect. We have, nurses aid and nursing and all of that also, which are short-term courses that our students can avail of. I haven't been able to get adequate information, so I didn't want to but I just want to touch upon it should any of your students want to do it. If you have questions, please ask.
I don't think there are any questions. We don't have anything in the chat. Looking for something, yes. So Amita was just saying that she's been looking for this kind of information for quite a while. And I know that a lot of people, they really are looking, because it's difficult to find information on third level and the options. It can be difficult to collate it. They're asking if we can share the PowerPoint, Rema. Would that be okay with you?
Definitely. What I'll do is I'll put the source so that you guys can also look at the source, because I know these sources, so I could go in directly. But if I put the source and then send it to you, Kathy, then you can share it. And then anybody has, it's all from the web, but also from my personal experience.
And what I'll do also, I'm going to put my LinkedIn on the chat, and I'll post it on LinkedIn. When we post the video tomorrow or the day after, I'll post the PowerPoint on LinkedIn so everyone can access it there.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Now, Namakong, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. How can we know which program will be best for a student? Should we choose for them or they choose for themselves?
It has to be a combination of both. We need to direct them, but we definitely need to keep their aspirations, goals, and capabilities in mind, because it is they who are going to pursue the program, not you and me, right? So we need, whenever I'm working with a student, I look at the personality, the interests, their capability, the family situation, a whole lot of, it's a holistic review. It's not just because, let me tell you, young people also are very influenced by what they read or what shows they watch, or, so it could be fleeting. But if you were to do a psychometric assessment, then it would be much more, it won't be just casual stuff. It'll be scientific way of doing it.
And there's a really amazing organization, I've worked with them quite a bit, called Vedatma. and they do really intense psychometric testing where they have 3 hours one-to-one with a counselor. The student undergoes a series of assessments, and it comes out with a really comprehensive report about the student's strengths, their areas for development, the kind of jobs that would be suitable for that person. Like if this child is quite extroverted, if they're introverted, if they're very organizational, if they're quite scientific, it does all of that analysis. I'm going to put the link to their website in the chat because they are really, really good.
I also would like to add to that. They also have incorporated AI tools, okay, because I've seen it for myself. And they have used AI tools to see what would be a good match in terms of career for that particular student. So it's not just the personality and interests, it's also the capability and what would work best for that individual.
And it shares lists of all of the universities internationally that offer the courses that are suitable to them. It's such a good tool. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for attending. We will post the recording on our YouTube channel either tomorrow or on Wednesday, once the download is completed, and I will post it on LinkedIn as well. And thank you so much, Rema. It has been really, really informative. You've been amazing. Thank you.
I will definitely send you another copy of this with the same presentation with a little bit of information on the source, because academic integrity demands that we, cite sources. And as educators, we have to do that to be able to tell our young to do it.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful new year, and may it be full of joy and prosperity. And we look forward to seeing you next month for our February forum. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Ma salama.
Bye-bye. Thank you.